7 o'clock. I call a meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Trustee Coleman.
Here.
Trustee Waterstreet.
I'm here.
Supervisor Fox.
Here.
And Treasurer Green.
Here. And we have excused absence by Clerk Bob tonight. All right, thank you. Next item we have is the presentation of agenda. We'd like to add item 15C under unfinished business, PA 233. Is there anything anybody else would like added to the agenda tonight?
Resolutions.
Yes.
We should add the resolutions number 2024-12 and 2024-13 under new business.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody would like to add to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So
Or amended, I'm sorry, amended.
So moved.
Is support?
I'll support.
All favors aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item we have is public comment on agenda items only at this time. Public comment on agenda items? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the October 9th, 2024 regular board meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review their minutes?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next item we have is the consent agenda. We have the building department report, EMS report, office manager report, and a planning commission report. Is there anything anybody would like to remove from the consent agenda tonight? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
Make a motion to accept that.
Your support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item we have tonight are the financial reports. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the bills from Kathy? If so, any questions?
No.
Okay. We have a motion to approve and pay bills as presented.
So moved.
Your support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item we have is treasurer's report.
In the general fund, fire fund, we have $1,550,667.41. Tax disbursement account, $158,974.48. Recreation funds are at $448,246.13. Investment accounts are at $250,449.70. The small amount left in the North Star funds is $7,802.47. PDR account is at $15,204.62, and the other accounts are $25,321.24. I would just like to add that earlier this weekend, Treasurer-elect and I were in the office, and she did actually put the millage rates in for the tax bills for the women. She did a good job, so I just want to share that. And that's all.
Any questions for Cindy tonight? No. Well, thank you. If nothing else, the treasurer's report will stand as presented. Thank you. Next item we have is farmland preservation.
Yes, we had our meeting today over in Gray Township, and we have a few things we need to address. Now, we have two applications this year going into the state, and one from Richmond Township, one from Bruce Township. Now, the state in the past has, they made up a rule that only one application from each PDR committee can be selected in the thing. Well, that which was fine, but then there was a group down from Ann Arbor that started submitting them. They had a group like ours, but then they started submitting their applications separately from each township. Well, we kind of complained to the state and said, well, then the state turned around and told us, they said, well, why don't we do that? Why don't you do that? So that's what we want to do this time. But in order to do that, the committee today thought that the planning and economic development would still do all the work, but we would have to submit it probably on township letterhead. Each township would be Richmond and Bruce, which they would put our name to it, and the supervisor would have to sign it. So what they want is a motion or a showing in our minutes that we approve such a way of doing it. So the motion, I got a motion here that I can read, and then you can, we can, I make the motion that we direct the supervisor to work with the Macomb County Planning and Economic Development Department to submit the application from Richmond Township for the purchase of development rights to the Ag Fund Board.
Okay.
I support that.
All fair side?
Aye.
And then the other issue we have, that in the past, whenever we've had applications, and if they got accepted, we, like if they were from Richmond Township, we put in $1,000 towards that purchase of the development rights, and then if it was from any other township, we put in $500. So again, we need motions in that regard to, so that, because if we're going to be spending this money, now this is just a pledge. If these applications don't get accepted, we don't spend the money, but it's just there. And they probably will be asking for applications the tail end of December, first part of January, and then they'll probably make their selections. They'll do their scoring and make their selections probably sometime in March. So we wouldn't be putting this money out to wait into next year sometime. But
So, if you're ready, I would like to make a couple of motions, or did you want to discuss it? I don't know.
I'm good. How do you want the word then?
Okay. The first motion I'd like to make is that Richmond Township pledge $1,000 to the PDR application for Richmond Township if accepted by the state in this year's cycle 2024.
We have support?
I'll support.
All fair side?
Aye. The second motion I'd like to make is that Richmond Township pledge $500 to the PDR application from Bruce Township if accepted by the state in this year's cycle of 2024.
We have support?
Should ask us to support. Why do we do that?
to what?
Why do we pledge money for somebody that's in, I mean,
But they're in
why
a-
can't they do their own pledge?
They will, they will. But the committee has always asked every township, even when we did our other purchases, other townships all put in money.
So do all the other townships put in money for
Yeah,
our PBR?
yeah,
Oh,
they will.
they will,
Yeah.
they'll
We
put
just,
500 everybody?
we've always, whenever it was in our township, we put in a little more, just as a gesture to say, we,
We
you know,
support.
yeah, we
that.
support
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I just was curious. Okay.
Do we have a motion? Do we have support?
I'll support that.
All fair side?
Aye.
And other than that, that's all I have at this time. Like I say, that believe the application will, the state will ask for the applications sometime in December.
Have you heard of anybody thinking about putting their property into the program?
We've had people approach us and talk to us, so hopefully it'll keep, they'll keep coming in,
Right. Okay.
you know.
All right, excellent. Any other questions for Rick before we move on? Great, thank you. Next item we have is the building department, which Jeff's not here tonight, but is there anything that needs to get back to Jeff for building? Okay. Moving on to the assessor's report. Is there anything that needs to be brought to the assessor's attention this month? All right, then we'll go down to library report, Elaine.
I have a library report. Okay, so as I stated last month, that the library is collecting hats, mittens, scarves, and gloves for both adults and children through December the 9th at the library, and then the Richmond Lions be given to them, and then they'll distribute it locally. And there are several dates in December to add to your list of important dates. December 2nd, they're going to have, it's going to start this nearly new book sale. So if you wanted to give books that were 2023-24 publishings, you can buy those for great gifts. While you're there, you could always get a book for a child. It's a children's book, and you can put an honor or in memory of someone. They put a little plaque inside of the book, and then that can it'll be stored in the children's area or displayed on top of the shelves. So in memory of someone, you could do that starting the second as well. The cookie sale, they have the 29th cookie sale, December 13th. I hear it's a big, huge event. I have not gone, but I hear it's huge. There's a sign-up sheet in the library if you want to
I was
make
just going to
cookies.
say,
or
what is
whatever.
that? People just sign up to bring cookies and?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a trade.
And it's like $10 a pound.
Oh.
I think it's $10 a pound. Yeah, $10 a pound. And all proceeds go back to the library. Yeah. That's all for the library.
All right. Great, well, thank you. Any questions?
Hats and gloves have to be brand new, correct?
Right, new hats.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next item we have tonight is the recreation report.
So we did host our Halloween event this year on the 19th of October. We had 91 participants. It was great fun. The kids seemed to really enjoy it. Last year we did the trunk or treat. I think we had 86 kids there, but I do feel this was just so much more hands-on, and we got a lot of comments and saw a lot of people that really seemed to enjoy it. Our next event is going to be our Santa visit, and that's on December 10th at 6 p.m. And we will be discussing at the meeting next week the recreation master plan. Steve did get the questionnaire up on our website, I do believe. So if anyone would like to take that and give their input before we move forward with the master plan, that would be appreciated. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Cindy? Okay. Next item we have the NEMC report.
Okay, so at the NEMC meeting that we met twice in the last 2 weeks about developing a letter to send to the different townships requesting that they send these statements that each township gets from Comcast, and they come right to the NEMC office so that they can get paid right away, because I guess these funds that come in are actually, according to the law, I guess, these PEG fees are supposed to go directly to the studio, not supposed to be like housed in townships. So we're still looking for those to be done right away. And the letter that we are coming up with to send to all the townships are still back 4 years of, we're trying to find all of the subscribers within each township so that they can get charged the correct rate for subscriber fees, which we're still going to be charging them the 50 cents per subscriber rather than the 68 cents. Isn't that right, Anita?
Yeah, until we get caught up.
Until we get caught up. So we just are, Anita's actually forming that letter right now, so we haven't set those out yet, but we will be shortly, because we thought that it would be important to get that out before any budget meetings so that people can take a look at that and make an appointment if they need to, or come to the next NEMC meeting to discuss it if they needed to do that. That's it.
Any questions for me? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Moving on to unfinished business. First item we have is the bridge funding update.
So back in February, Trustee Waterstrat and I met with some members from the Department of Roads, and at that point, we had been informed that we were going to now be responsible for a match to repair 2 bridges within the township. And it was going to be a 5% match on 32 Mile Road, because we shared that with Lennox, and the full 10% on 34 Mile. Of course, we were a lot of surprise. We were like, where do we come up with this money? We had never had to do it before. So they did offer us, they have some type of loan program that you can enter in. It's like 3.5% interest. They told us pretty much everybody gets approved. And then there was some pushback by the northern supervisors, and I heard nothing else for a long time. So I just thought maybe we weren't going to have to pay that money. And on October 16th, I received another email from Eric, is it Dimoff or something of that nature, basically saying they were prepared in our cost share agreement for, I believe, $111,463 for our 5% on the 32-mile road bridge. But they had decided to take off the 34-mile road bridge for, I think, everyone in the county. I know for the northern townships, they did that. We don't have to be responsible for that match. So he did send me the amount of loan payments. They vary anywhere from 5-year, it'd be $22,975.81, or if we want to go 20 years, it's $5,743.95. And really what I put this on for was I just wanted to have a discussion with the board to see how you felt. We do have available cash that is not tied up in anything to pay for that in a one-time payment, if everyone agreed to do that rather than to borrow the money. When I talked to Vern about it, I mean, I just remember when we did our driveway and we had gotten rates from the bank to do the loan, we said we have the money, let's just pay for it, which is always a good thing. So I really wanted to get everybody's input. I did reach out to Eric again yesterday just to make sure how this was done. At the time we signed the agreement, we handed them the check or we signed the loan paperwork. And they go from there. So it sounds like they want to be able to approve the agreements in December. I told them this would be on for discussion tonight, and I didn't promise them that we would approve the payment. I just said we would discuss it, so I just wanted to put it out there and see how everybody felt.
Well, it only makes sense to me too that because of the amount of interest that we'd be paying them that time, it doesn't really make much sense to pay that $7,000 or, isn't that what I'm
If
saying?
we got the
right?
money,
Yeah, if we have the money or whatever the interest that
Is-
would be.
yeah. Is Lennox Township on board with this, do you know?
Lennox Township paid, what Mr. Dimoff led me to believe was that, yeah, they would be paying their 5% as well. I think I'm more concerned because when this came out last January, was it, or December, there was a big pushback from mostly Armada Township.
Yeah.
And I remember the supervisor basically wrote a very lengthy email and said, I'm not paying it, they can't make me. Now, when Elaine and I met, if it is a bridge over a smaller bridge, it sounds like the county is just going to go ahead and eat that 10%. But the major bridges that obviously take a lot more money to repair, they're going to be looking for a match from us. I don't know. I did mention that to Mr. Dimoff as well. I said, so I just want to make sure that, you know, basically you're not going to come back in a year and say, well, you paid it and did what you were supposed to, but the other communities didn't, and so we're going to give them a pass. You know, and I don't like, only because if they're getting passed, I won't get passed, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Especially with a bridge like 32-mile road being such a major artery. There's one more in 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We're talking about our major bridge by
Yeah.
Cardamom.
Yeah.
It's down there.
And he said, because I did, thank you, I did also ask him that when the next bridge we might be, you know, tapped for, and he said no earlier than 2028. And once that bridge was repaired, he couldn't see anything in the foreseeable future after that.
Yeah.
So,
Are they still planning to fix the one on 34 at no cost to us?
at no cost to us.
Yeah, okay. Within the next calendar year, or,
I know 32's on for next year, I think.
yeah,
34 might be over the winter of, not this winter, but the following
Yeah.
winter, possibly.
yeah.
Depending, there's all different factors and times of year when they can do that.
Yeah, if we told them no, would that bunch the project?
I don't know, that's a road that,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know
yeah.
if that's a road the board wants to go down, but that's,
Yeah, yeah, I know,
I don't know what would happen, honestly.
yeah.
I myself would be in favor of it. I know we've got a lot of bridges
Yeah,
in the
I know,
township that
I
no
know.
cost over the years.
Yeah.
and
I'm in favor of it as well.
Yeah, I believe so too.
So I guess if we are all in favor of it, does someone want to make a motion to authorize the township to make a one-time payment, and I misspoke, it's $111,263 for our portion, match on the 32-mile road bridge repair.
I'll make a motion to pay the $111,263
You know, one.
in a lump sum to the road commission.
I'll support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Make a roll call vote on that. That's fine, we can do something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll do a roll call vote. Sorry.
Trustee Waterstream?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Supervisor DeVos?
Yes.
And Treasurer Green.
Great. Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm sure that will make them happy as well.
Yep.
And that'll go to them next month. Right?
No.
Because they wanted it in December.
No, no.
So they have prepared the cost share agreement, which everybody, it's my understanding that everybody in the county that has a bridge repaired gets that with the county, right?
Right.
And so if we wanted a loan, that would be a different agreement. So we would just, here's $111,000.
You're going to bring up something though for us. There'll be something written.
Yeah, it'll be it probably looks a lot like this. This is a drink here. It'll look something like that, but
Okay, no.
it'll detail the bridge.
Okay.
But should we have made a motion contingent on as long as Huntington pays their share?
You can amend your motion.
So just like you said, if they're gonna get a free ride, I don't see why we should be paying and nobody else is.
So, Red, do you know anything at all about Lennox and paying their, I know because you do them as well. Have they talked about it? Are they already moving forward with making that payment?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Anthony did tell me that they were going to pay.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm pretty confident they're going to pay their portion.
Okay.
But if it makes you feel better, can't hurt anything, put it in your motion.
well, it's just a safety net.
If you wanted a motion, you could amend it and support the amendment.
But how would we word it?
Just contingent upon Lennox Township paying
Everybody
their
pays
5%.
their fair share. Yeah. I would rather do that. You
Would
made
like
a
to make
motion.
an amendment? Would you like me to make an amendment to my motion?
Yes, I would.
All right. I'll amend the motion contingent upon Lennox Township paying their $111,263.
Hmm.
When it's approved at
We
their meeting.
we don't have to
it's
name
what-
Lennox, but I don't want to make them look like a bad guy, because they're not. I mean, it's just, as long as everybody pays what they're supposed to. Yeah.
Okay, is that okay?
You still support?
I'll support it. I'll
Okay.
support it.
Let me ask you this, if I may. You said you don't have to name Lennox. Were you more so thinking the amendment would be contingent upon the other communities paying, all other communities?
No, just
I think it's.
Just on this case, it's just gonna be us.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm just saying, it's like, oh, Lennox, you gotta pay, that's kind of the way I watch it. Where if we just, as long as everybody, goes as we say it was gonna be, we're gonna do 5, they're gonna do 5, and the county does the rest. That's all.
You made the amendment
I did make it.
to other communities?
Other communities,
Other communities. And you
that
still
the other
support it?
communities will pay their portion.
Okay. And you still support Vernon?
Yes.
Do we still re-roll call vote it?
Okay.
All right. Let's go.
Lori's like, sure, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Make an amendment, please.
Trustee Waterstream?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Supervisor DeVos?
Yes.
And Treasurer Green.
Yes,
All right, everybody good on that?
Thank you, yes.
very good.
Fantastic, feel good? Great. Okay, let's move, next item we have Dream Commission, or Dream Discussion, I'm sorry.
We're counting a lot of money.
Yes.
Yes.
It's true.
So, when we had Mr. Echevetti out here in May, Supervisor DeVos suggested that perhaps we raise our match from 12,500 to 25,000, which the board was all in agreement to do so. Since that meeting and our budget approval, I know I've been in a couple of meetings with some people from the farming community and have talked again to Mr. Echevetti. And I reached out just out of curiosity to Mr. Accavetti to see if the board were willing to put another 25,000 in this year, would we get the same match? They gave us 42,000 for our 25. And so Mr. Accavetti has worked very hard. So I talked to Mr. Duchesne, and he sent a second amendment to our contract with the Public Works Department. They will match again, so for $50,000, the township will get $134,000 worth of work on our drains next year. I know this was something that Chris had worked on quite a bit, and I just thought it would be good if we could go ahead and approve the extra money at this meeting. So
And you also said that there is money there for that.
there absolutely is money there for that. Yep.
And we definitely need that.
I would love nothing more than to do that. So-
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay. It's definitely needed.
I think if we do this for a few years, we can have most of the county drains in Richmond Township, I think, taken care of.
I think we need to get to that point. Let
Yeah.
it take, and then
Yeah.
relocate it.
Yeah. And I think the county from this point moving forward, like Dan said at that meeting, they're more apt to let the residents clean them out as long as they're not rerouting ditches and stuff. Where in the past, they weren't like that. So if we can get them clean, I'm pretty sure the landowners are gonna be interested in keeping them clean, even if they gotta do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so would we have a motion then to increase the amount from $25,000 to $50,000?
I'll make that motion.
That's great.
All fair side?
I
Aye. Yes, Lord.
guess what, Woody?
One.
Trustee Coleman,
Aye.
trustee Waterstreet,
Yes.
supervisor DeLoss,
Yes.
and treasurer Grenier.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that, too. That's exciting, I like to hear that. Next item we have is PA 233.
And Stacy, I did already ask him if you could come up and speak on this. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for, staying on top of this. I'm trying to do that as well. On October 10th, the Michigan Public Service Commission, which has taken over, through legislation effective the end of this month, they will have all control basically over wind and solar, large-scale utility installations. And on October 10th, they issued a ruling that they indeed basically do get control. The local authorities don't have much control over the whole thing. And so a lawsuit has been filed, an appeal to that ruling, technically, and 75 townships and counties have joined on to that. Try to get it ascertained, they don't want to overturn it or anything, but just to get ascertained that the local authorities have a little control, have some control. So, we did not join that lawsuit, and I had talked to Susan about it ahead of time. It was very fast, it all happened very fast, and during the crazy elections and everything. So she did consult with the attorney, and our attorney felt, we are all going to benefit, no matter what happens, just because the 75 townships are doing it, we would benefit if they were successful in the appeal. So it's a good thing that, it's happening with or without us. I'm disappointed, but life goes on. And so I do think it's important to get other opinions, and as far as even the ordinances and stuff. And so I reached out to the law firm that's handling this case just because they have a lot of experience representing townships' rights, and that's their main mission really, is to protect townships' rights and local government. So I reached out to them just as a local citizen, and I don't know if I'll hear back from my email them a little better, so.
Hopefully you will, right?
We'll see what happens with that. But I do like to get other opinions on these things, because there's a lot involved in it all. And so I knew that it was kind of weird that a lot of people didn't know what was going on. So at the election, I did talk to people, voters that were coming out from voting. I talked to probably about 75 people, and none of them had any idea that this was happening at the state level. And I wanted to get a sense of where they, stood on it. Well, only one person said, "Hey, we can't have solar. Why don't you want solar? I want solar." Then I explained it. No, it's about who's going to set the rules for about 75 people agreed that we should have local control. So again, I did talk to Supervisor-elect Cindy about that, and what we could do going forward, and we talked about possibly putting a moratorium in place so that there could be no development for probably 4 to 6 months that it would take the township to adopt ordinances, because I know the planning commission is going ahead working on a workable ordinance, even though, developers may be able to override it. So we thought maybe a moratorium might help for the immediate, time being. And then going forward to develop these ordinances, Cindy had mentioned maybe having a little committee, like we got the drain committee and such, that if we wanted to think about community members, board members that might want to participate in that and stay on top of this, because no matter what, something's happening with it, so whether, helping put together the ordinances, place together information, and I'm happy to keep doing some of the legwork, but I think it would be very helpful to have like a contact on the board, at least one person with, different voices might be helpful too, to get ideas of what we might want to see. So that was something else we talked about, and I guess that's about where we're at with Public Act 233. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. As she said, her and I have had a couple of conversations about this. We did talk earlier today. I know Steve is already working on the ordinance, but perhaps if you've got, you have to have a public hearing on it anyways. I just thought maybe if you could have a couple people that she's very invested in this, and she might have some ideas that, and I did talk to Mr. Russ and Mr. and Mrs. Christensen about this as well, and they would be very interested, I think, in giving their opinions on it. I also did call Sharon back about the moratorium. I talked to her this afternoon, and she said that we certainly could, even though it's not an item on the agenda per se, if we chose to make a motion to put a moratorium on any solar farming for, I said, is it indefinite, 6 months? She said you could make it for 6 months with the caveat that, that would be to see where your ordinance was and where the court cases were, and then we would revisit in 6 months. So I think, did we do that with the medical marijuana thing? Did we have a moratorium on that?
Because that was so changing so much, and
Right.
we wanted to settle down first.
When I did talk to Sharon the first time, she mentioned that, a lot of planning is ultimately decided by the state in many ways anyways. But we did decide that we were going to have our planner draw up an ordinance, so we're going to have an ordinance. I feel it should be the best it can be with maybe some, Stacy knows way more about this than I do. I mean, your opinion would certainly, you'd benefit from that. I think in this case she knows a lot about it. But tonight, I would like to make a motion to place a moratorium on solar farming for 6 months, and we could revisit it at that time to see the progress of our ordinance as well as the status of the court cases.
So do you motion on the table? Do you support?
I'll support.
Okay. Any further discussion? That's a good idea. All in there is aye?
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay. So the next item we have tonight then would be the approval of resolution 2024-11, Richmond Township's 2025 poverty exemption policy and guidelines application. I know this is something we do each year, and it's just more of a formality. So I'm recommending that we adopt this resolution. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
All fair side?
Aye.
Next item we have is resolution 2024-12.
So, Vern, if you would like to...
Yes, I'll read the resolution and then we'll. Resolution 2024-12, Whereas Christy Voss moved into Richmond Township in 2004 with his wife Brandy, and later welcoming his son Brandon and a daughter Juliana. And whereas Christy Voss has always been involved with his community for quite some time, belonging to such groups as the Lions of Rotary, leading a pack of Boy Scouts. And whereas Christy Voss became formally involved in the Richmond Township business when he was on the Board of Review and the NEMC board, and was introduced to the township through then clerk Sharon Jusko. And whereas Christy Voss ran for Richmond Township trustee in 2012 and was formally elected to the board and ran for a second term in 2016 and again was elected to the board. And whereas in 2020, Christy Voss ran for the position of township supervisor and was elected to that position. And whereas during his time on the township board, he has helped the township navigate some difficult issues such as medical marijuana, the Stone 80 proposed land swap for the EMS building, and the Randingo lawsuit, and many personnel issues. And whereas he has also helped the township during exciting times, such as completing of our new EMS hall on 32 Mile Road, landscaping projects at the township by Eagle Scott Brandon, Scott Brandon DeVos, upgrading the meeting room with new paint, carpeting, and sound system, and annexation of the cemetery to the city of Richmond, and the purchase of a new park property, providing a park plan, and recently approving a walking path project for the new park. And whereas there has been other issues that he has been most involved in, including county drain cleanouts, adoption of several policies in the township, helping with limestone placement, and the facilitation of numerous cleanup days. Now, whereas being it resolved that the Richmond Township Board would like to formally extend their gratitude to, on behalf of the board, as well as the Richmond Township residents, for the service well done in his role as Richmond Township trustee and Richmond Township supervisor, dated November 13, 2024.
And I think I would like to make a motion to adopt that resolution.
I'll support it.
Further discussion before we officially approve. I want to say thank you so much. There's a lot of stuff happened there in that period of time, and the honor is mine serving the board in this township, and I've definitely learned so much over my 12 to 14-ish years here, and I plan on taking that experience and moving forward. So you never know where you see me pop up someday. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
All fair say aye.
You're welcome, Tim. Thank you.
All fair say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you so much. Next item then will be approval of resolution 2024-13.
Elaine Waterstrat, Richmond Township, Macomb County, Resolution of Gratitude, Resolution number 2024-13. Whereas Elaine Waterstrat moved into Richmond Township in 1990 with her husband Earl, later welcoming a son Cole and daughter Haley. And whereas Elaine Waterstrat was always willing to volunteer to help make Richmond Township a better place by helping in school, having her own 4-H group, and providing many other activities for our youth. And whereas in April of 2022, Treasurer Cheryl Zalka resigned her position as Richmond Township Treasurer, leaving a vacancy on the Board of Trustees, and then trustee Cindy Greening was appointed to fulfill that term as Township Treasurer, thus leaving her seat as Township Trustee vacant. And whereas, having been familiar with her giving nature, tireless work ethic, and infectious enthusiasm to meet any challenge she might face on the Richmond Township Board, formally appointed her to fulfill the vacancy in the trustee's position. And whereas, since that time, Elaine has proven herself to be inquisitive and eager to learn how the township operates by asking good, solid, and intelligent questions to all other board members. And whereas she has taken on the role of being a liaison between the Richmond Township Board and the Richmond Public Library, sharing updates each month regarding programming and events to be held at the library, and also helping to bring awareness to what a great asset the library is to our community. And Whereas she has also been our liaison at the NEMC meetings, where she also shares a monthly update with the board and has made certain to request a camera be present for filming all of our recreation activities. And whereas she has brought new energy to Richmond Township Board during her 2.5 years of service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Richmond Township Board would like to formally extend their gratitude on behalf of the board as well as Richmond Township residents for service well done in her role as Richmond Township trustee, dated November 13th, 2024.
Would you support?
I'll support.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I really
And we
enjoyed
appreciate
this.
you. You've been one.
I thought it was great. Learned a lot about the community. I think it's really important.
You taught me some, so there you go. And I'm an old
I
timer.
love it. Yeah, thank you for having me.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Next item we have then would be items for next agenda.
We put the board roster on there.
We'll try to get in for the audit next
Yeah.
month. He's going to be here in December. If you want to make sure that's on.
Okay. Well, if anybody think of anything.
Well, do we need to bring up the bridge stuff? Or will we have any more?
We could put the
Yeah.
bridge out there and, see where we're at with that,
Any
sure.
more information on that?
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't think of anything.
Okay. Nothing else. Next item would be called to the board.
I've got a couple of things. Do you want to start? We'll come this way.
Well, I'd just like to let the people in the audience know we are swearing in all of us and the new members next Wednesday at 5:30, 6 o'clock? 5:30, so if you want to be in attendance, be here. We have several new members coming on the board and stuff, so. Yeah. That's just before our planning commission. And we will be discussing the new ordinance for like this. So if you want to attend the planning commission,
And
too,
our recreation
be there.
commission.
Yeah.
Busy night that night,
Put your input in, yeah.
right?
Anything?
A couple of things. I don't know if you guys read the updates from Kathy. She talked about a lot about elections, and I just wanted to point out that she wanted to thank Lori. She was invaluable to the community. Want to make sure everybody saw that in this thing. Lori's not blushing. Yes, she is. We do have cupcakes and cookies and coffee and water. We would like everyone to stay and show their appreciation for Supervisor DeVos and Elaine Waterstrat trustee. That is really all I have.
Okay. Anything else for call to the board? Okay, hearing none. General public comment? Yeah, you can come up to the podium. Thank you.
Anyways, I was wondering, the township of Richmond and the city of Richmond, who controls 33 Mile Road?
Guess that would depend on controls it for what? Like, you're talking.
Because you own to the half of 33 Mile Road, correct?
Yeah,
And then the city of Richmond owns eastbound.
right, you're talking like speed limits and
Yeah.
enforcement, and what I think I've seen the city of Richmond out there patrolling.
So their jurisdiction is east and westbound on 33 Mile Road from M19 to Low Platte.
Wherever the city limits end, and I think it's just west
On
of
their,
the county.
I got a map of your township, I got a map of Richmond,
Okay.
and it shows that they just go to half, the middle of the road.
Right. Yes, official city limits and township limits is the half of the road. I know the city of Richmond does patrol, at least for the condos, that's what's Swan Creek there.
Which is on that side of the road.
Yeah, they usually turn around the furthest driveway, they don't go down the Low Plain.
Okay.
But otherwise, it would be sheriff's department.
Right, or state police.
Correct, yeah.
Sorry, anyways, you control, I'm gonna ask you, your jurisdiction is westbound on 33 Mile Road, correct?
It's township property, but the township doesn't do police enforcement, but
Okay, do you pay the city of Richmond to patrol?
we do not.
Okay, then, you control that.
Okay.
Okay, could I have any documentation of that?
We land survey that would show.
Well, yeah, no, just saying that with your letterhead stating that, the the city of Richmond owns to the middle of the road, and you own the north side of the road.
Probably legal description of township properties would be fine, it would state that.
Yeah, I got a speeding ticket. and-
Okay.
And anyways, I was going 11 over.
Okay.
And it's in, you have that church on the corner, and then everything else is white on your township plot map. And if it's white, it's considered more or less 55 miles an hour.
Okay.
So anyways, I was just wondering if I could get a letterhead with stating that your jurisdiction is the middle of 33 Mile Road and westbound.
Legal description of township limits in there.
Okay, I was just
I don't
wondering.
think, but the county, that's a county road, even though it may be our property, they're the ones that control that. We have no control.
No.
Is there a speed limit sign?
Pardon me?
Was there a speed limit sign anywhere?
It just says you turn off of M19 onto that road, it says 35. And anyways, almost to low plank, the police officer was parked back in the cattails as I was going by, and he wrote me up for 11 over. And on your plot plan, it's white, and which is agricultural residential, which is 55. They don't have to post it.
I wonder the city limits end over there. They had somewhere over there. but-
Yeah. And, yeah,
There's that.
Legal description that states that, I think.
Westbound is posted at 35.
Pardon me?
Westbound is posted at 35.
Westbound, just as you turn around the corner. And as you turn around the corner, you better be looking, because it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's, like in the village of Emmett, you pull up to M21 and M19, you proceed there and 100, not even 100 yards down, it's 45 miles an hour. But down by Jimmy Keegan's hay business, there's Rin Road there, it's 35 coming into town. But once you leave 21 and go north, it's 45.
It's posted at 35.
Okay. We can see if we can find a legal description, if that's what you need.
Yeah, I can stop back by next week, okay?
See what we can find.
I got a court meet next Thursday, and I'm trying to fight. So, anyways, well, hey, thank you for your help, thank you for your help, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other general public comment tonight?
Hello, my name's Kathy Pace. I'm joining state my address. I'm sure if you guys know that here. I just came over on school section. I wasn't able to be at the last board meeting. You, as a board, hired me on to be the new office administrator taking over for Chris Brickland. I just wanted to say thank you and officially introduce myself. And to Mr. Med, we talked on the phone the other day, so nice to see your face. And Chris has been a fantastic trainer. I don't know what I'd do without her, and so thank you for putting me under your wing, and welcome to some of the new board members that are coming up. So I just wanted to say hello, and thank you for taking me on as a member of the community, working for the township, and I'm excited to keep going with you guys.
Super
Thank
happy
you.
to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other general public comment tonight? Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
so moved.